are here with Ryan Stewman, my business partner, and the New York Times best-selling author, business coach, radio host, Cardone Zone, TV producer and business reality show, Turnaround King, top 10 business coaches on Twitter, writes for Wells Fargo Entertainment Magazine and Business Insider, and he's worked with Morgan Stanley, Google, Chrysler, U.S. Army. You get it. He's a badass. The #1 closer, an idol of mine. I'm so honored to be here. I appreciate you being with us, Grant.
Dude, great to be with you guys. I really appreciate what you're doing and, thinking enough of me to have me on the show.
Man, I'm excited to be able to share some airtime with you. And again, what an awesome intro by Sean, but I really am excited to share some airtime with you and for really you just to be able to bring it to our audience. So everybody that's out there watching, you're in some good shit today for sure. So we're excited for you, man. All right, so I just want to jump straight into this. Obviously everybody watching this, majority of them are even involved in this and watching this because they want to see you, Grant. They want to hear you in action. So, we're excited to have you impart your sales wisdom into our mastermind members. One of the things a lot of people in real estate and mortgages and stuff like that, they present themselves as good salesmen, but they're not good closers. And so, that's why we wanted to bring you on here. And I wanted to ask you just some questions so that you could help give us some insight on some better closes and things like that, and then also how you do your marketing and business and sales stuff too. So first question I have for you is recently I've noticed on your social media and like your Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff that your main focus seems to be the 10X rule. Can you explain that to our audience and what it is, what makes you passionate about it?
Well, it's a good question. My main focus is basically to help entrepreneurs. I mean, depending on what the material is, there's two things that I'm always going after. One, the first thing is to try to grow my own business. I mean, in the books that I write, in the audio programs that I do, the first thing I'm actually trying to accomplish is I'm trying to figure out my own shit, man. I'm trying to figure out my own expansion. I'm trying to figure out how am I going to grow my business in an economy that's changing, shifting, tremendous amounts of competition, a consumer that's extremely uncertain, a consumer that also is able to get content and information and comparisons anywhere and everywhere at the flick of a button or by opening an app. So the 4 books that I've written, these books were all written at some point where I was trying to figure out something. This was the first book I wrote called Sell or Be Sold. It was followed by a book on closing a deal. These books were written at the height of the recession. A guy could learn how to sell. Yeah, I'm interested in your product. The problem is he didn't have any money. And I'm like, I got to go back and revisit what it takes to close a customer in the 21st century. This book is just loaded with nothing but closes. Once you sell and close a deal, then the problem is going to be, hey, do you have a full pipeline? I know people that are excellent salespeople, excellent closers, and they still don't make any money. Or they suffer year after year. 1 year's good, the next year's bad. 1 month's good, 1 month's bad. Why? Because their pipeline's not full. I wrote this book. I didn't really write it for a consumer. I wrote it so that I could get my ideas out for my company, my employees. How am I going to fill my pipeline up once I teach somebody how to sell? Then I teach them how to close. I'm talking about my employees, my company, and me. I needed to write my own roadmap on how do I fill a pipeline up. What if I sell the guy, close him, finish, but finish him, then I just sold my best prospect. Now I need a full pipeline so that I can go replace him. And this book's called If You're Not First, You're Last. This is this was my first published book. And at that time when it came out, that's all I was talking about. I was talking about how to fill your pipeline up, how to prospect, how to keep it loaded. This last book that you're referencing, I'm getting around to a long answer, the 10X Rule, this is a magical book, okay? I don't know if it's because I've had some time to write books and now I understand a little more about writing, or if it was basically a catharsis, if you will, of getting away from technique, because the first 3 books are really very technical. How do I sell someone? How do I close a deal? How do I handle an objection? How do I finish a transaction? All those are completely separate and not simple things. Selling is not a simple thing as people think it is. Most people take selling as a very simple thing that actually is an extremely complicated technology. Then you move into closing and negotiating, it even gets more complicated. Anybody can learn this, but you're not going to learn it without learning. This book, though, is about action, okay? You guys both know people. They've been to all the seminars, the webinars, they've read the books, but dude, what they're missing on is the action. And I think I've discovered, I'm not so self-confident that I know for sure, but I think I've discovered what the single reason why people don't achieve their goals, why they're not motivated, why they don't stay excited. The 10X rule basically tells people, look, I want you to take whatever your target, whatever your goal is, financial, physical, emotional, mental, I want you to take whatever your goal is and I want you to multiply times 10. And in this book, if you want to make $1 million, I'm going to show you how to make 10 million, not 1 million. That's the 10X rule. That's why I'm excited about it. That's why I'm telling everybody about it, because look, you got to have fuel in your engine. You have to have a purpose. If your purpose isn't big enough, like for instance, at our company, okay, we have a motto there. Our goals must be so big that our problems are pale in comparison. If I'm having problems with an employee, okay, somebody that's really talented in my organization, and we're focused on the problem, we shouldn't be. We should be focused on the goals. The goals should be so monster fucking big, sick, crazy, massive, that all the problems we have are like nothing. Like, hey, I got a DUI this weekend. Okay, yeah, but my goals, man, let's talk about my goals. By the way, I would never get a DUI, but I'm just giving you an example.
No, and by the way, I saw your
and I talk a lot about.
I saw your arrest video.
Yeah. Okay, that's a perfect example. Okay,
Go ahead.
Here it is, the first of the year. Here it is, the first of the year. You know, we're trying to get attention. By the way, attention is the #1 most important thing to grow in your business. Money is not the thing. Okay, don't worry about money. 28 million small businesses in America. 22 million of them have no employees. They're so focused on staying small, dude, they won't even hire the first person. If your focus is on staying small, you will get crushed. Okay, you got to grow. You got to grow. And to grow, you have to get attention. No matter how good your product is, no matter how good your ideas are, no matter how low your price is, dude, if I don't know you, I ain't hooking up with you. Okay? I don't care if you're perfect product. Okay? Your product, you're Jesus, dude, and you got bread. You got blood and bread of Jesus Christ, and you can actually heal me. Man, I still need you to show up and get my attention. And getting attention today is difficult because you're competing with the whole world. You're competing this weekend. We're competing with a Super Bowl here in a few minutes, you know. Then we're going to be competing with some tragic accident. Then we're going to be competing with a shooting in Colorado. Then we're going to be competing with who knows, man. It just is endless. Competition is not somebody that sells a product for less than you do. All the competition problems are for attention. It is the #1 reason your business will fail or your brand fails is because you don't get enough attention. So at the first of the year, we're like, dude, how can we get a bunch of attention? I just spent a month and a half in doing some training. Me and my wife went off. People weren't hearing from us as much. So we basically came out and said, hey, I know you've been wondering where I'm at. Well, I got to admit it, it's true. Just Google Grant Cardone and arrested. It's crazy, man.
I watched the video. It got me. It got my attention.
It did, didn't it?
It got my attention.
Now, do you think that?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that was? So, do you think that video was a promotion for Twitter followers, or for something else?
Yeah, I think it was a promotion just for your brand overall. But you know, I did tweet it out on Twitter, and I got probably 10 or 15 retweets just from sending it out. So people wanted to know what it is. You know, isn't it funny? Like people are drawn to that gossip too. Like, oh, look at Grant, finally. You know what I mean? Like, it got me too, though. Like I said, so. But I think it was an advertisement that just grew your brand. Period. It showed that you were smart marketing. Showed that you were willing to step out there and get attention. And the traffic that we ran to our members to promote this post as well, we used that picture because I know that it like sticks out in people's minds. So you might as well go with what works.
Okay, thanks. I think.
So the next question I got for you, Grant, is, you know, when I was going through your training system and taking Cardone University and all that, you know, one of the things that you always said was closing is a service, and it's something that it's something that's needed by our clients. Why do you believe so strongly that that closing is actually a service and not just a process or whatever?
It's great. You know, it's so nice to see people actually learning the information and duplicating it. Okay, because you picked up a key. Closing is for the customer. It is not for the salesperson. It's not for the guy, the entrepreneur trying to get a deal. So when you're like, when you close a deal and you're like, yippee, yippee, dude, we closed the deal, man. You know, you see the guys in boiler room. Oh my God, we killed him. You know, dude, the close isn't for you. Why are you so confused about this? The close is for the customer. If you have a great product, and if you have a good service, a great service, and if you really believe in you, then you understand that when your customer actually says, yes, I'm going to do this, you know, I sign the contract, I buy the house, I get the mortgage, I get the plumbing, I rehab my house, I spend the money, I actually exchange money for some product or service. When I agree to do that, the customer wins. In every case, the customer should win more than the salesperson or the company did. If they didn't, you're a criminal. So, like when somebody buys my book, we don't go jump around, run around and congratulate ourselves. Oh yeah, we sold a book. Dude, I'm not the winner here. The guy that bought my book's the winner. The guy that got our program's the winner. The people using the information are the winners. Okay. So when I go buy an Apple phone, you know, I'm the winner in the deal. I got the phone, dude. They got $500. Shit, I can get $500 back. I needed the tool. And most salespeople, I was just doing a meeting yesterday. There's probably 400 or 500 people in the room. And I said, hey, let me ask you a question. Who's the close for? Nobody in the room thought about it being for them. See, the thinking's got to get twisted. You got to literally twist the thinking so that you're like, oh, I will pressure people. This is why salespeople give up in a deal. This is why salespeople don't ask, because they're freaking twisted in the head. Because you've been, basically salespeople for the last 50 years have been taught a bunch of bullshit about manipulating people and a bunch of tricks.
Yep.
And garbage like neuro-linguistic programming, okay? Now, you might like neuro-linguistic programming, but I'm telling you, it's freaking garbage, and I've never seen high producers use that kind of shit except to sell it to other people. See, because if you're going to manipulate people, and you know you're manipulating them, you know you're playing a little personality game, and you're having to always kind of change and dodge and do this and that for whoever they are, then you're losing your power. I'm not going to change for a bunch of people. I'm just going to get my integrity in on the deal. Okay? If I'm selling ink pens, I have to believe in this ink pen that it's worth more than the $50 I'm charging for it, or the $500, or the $5, whatever. The pen has to be worth more than the money I'm getting. And then I can press, and then I can push, and then I can close, and then I can use all the material in this book, okay? All these are closes. They're all things I can say to people that actually gets them to say, okay, I'll buy the pen, or I'll buy the house, or whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. And one of the problems is most salespeople they operate from a place of greed and need. They need to make a sale, so they get all wrapped up in the moment and their needs involved in it. Just as human nature, we tend to be like greedy people anyway, right? We hoard money, we hoard our love and everything else. So, you know, we get it, like you said, our head all twisted up and everything else, but it becomes about us. When in real, I couldn't agree with you more. When someone's buying something, like you said, you win with the phone. Apple's got $500, and yeah, maybe it costs them 3 cents to make it, and they charge you $500 for it, but you're going to use that phone to make millions within the next couple months. So
exactly, that's what I bought. You know, I buy a book. I don't buy a book because it's $30 or $19, right, or $12 or $8. I'm buying it because I'm looking for $1 million idea. Look, I don't care. I don't care if I lose $30. See, I got my thinking right. I got a sign back behind me. No negativity allowed here, okay? We're in a hotel in New Orleans. I'm at the Ritz Hotel. It don't matter if you're at the Ritz or the freaking Holiday Inn, dude. There's negativity everywhere. So I'm watching a TV back there. There's a lot of negativity on that TV. I'm reminding myself, that freaking sign's for me. It's not for them. It's not for the maid or the waiter that walks in here. It's for me to remind me, dude, don't be negative. Now, while saying that, you brought up a great thing about greed. You guys need to get greedy, man. Look, greed is a good thing. I'm not talking about Wall Street now. I'm not talking about Michael Douglas and his pitch on, the movie Wall Street. I'm talking about your kids, your wife, your husband, your family, your future, your dreams. You got to protect them. You're greedy with oxygen. You want oxygen. I need another breath, man. I never get enough oxygen. I'm like, I need another breath. I'm not satisfied with the last breath I had or 100 breaths ago. I need the next one to stay alive. I need money to stay alive. I need money to help my church. I need money to help my community. I can't operate on last year's money. So I'm like a child. I'm like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old. When they're hungry, man, they get kind of weird. I got a 2-year-old, man. That little 2-year-old, she gets hungry. If she gets hungry or she gets tired, she gets a little freaking woo-woo, and all of a sudden
it's 2-year-old as well, so I feel your pain.
Yeah, so, when they get like that, it's like, dude, hey, pay attention to me. I need some food now. That's the way salespeople should operate all the time. Greedy, but be greedy in an intelligent way. Like, train yourself. Be greedy to be the best. Be greedy to get more in the most ethical way possible. If you had hundreds of closes, you would not have to trick people. If you had thousands of customers, you would not have to lie to somebody, because you can replace them with another 999 customers. And so I would tell you just to be greedy about your training, your education, and your preparation, and your motivation.
You use greed and apply it in the right areas, in other words. Greed is a good thing if it's applied in the right area. So I like that. Well, why do you think most salespeople are afraid to close, man? What's the deal with that?
Well, I think most salespeople they're not trained. I mean, they don't even know what they're doing, dude. They don't even have a clue. I mean, the only thing about most salespeople is that they call themselves a salesperson. I mean, that's the only certification they have. I mean, and most salespeople don't even call themselves that. They're actually trying to figure out how not to call themselves a salesperson. I'm a mortgage broker. I'm a real estate agent. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Goddamn, why is selling a bad thing? I was at my church this past week, and I'm like, hey, I just want everybody to know I'm a salesman.
I was having a conversation with the guy the other day, and he says, matter of fact, it was Monday, and he's like, well, listen, I'd like to do this interview with you because you're an entrepreneur. And I said, no, I'm not an entrepreneur. He goes, well, you run a business. I said, technically, no, I don't. I'm a salesman. I said, I sell my products to people who are going to get benefits from it. I don't have any idea how to file the paperwork. I have a CPA that does that for me. I have no idea how to do the special stuff. I have an attorney that does that for me. I'm not even sure exactly how much money's in my account or the expenses, because I hire people to do all that shit for me. You know why? Because I'm good at selling, and I'm going to go out and be a salesman every day because that's how I show up at work. But a lot of people, they hide behind it. They say, well, I'm a consultant or an advisor or a spokesperson. Like, man, own up. But that just shows you why they can't close too, I think, right? Because they're scared to own up and serve on that level, I guess would be the word for it.
There's a lot of misbeliefs about salespeople. Like, they're all extroverts. You got to be outgoing. You got to talk to people. Look, I know salespeople. I know a bunch of real estate salespeople because I buy real estate, as you guys know, and I've met, I don't know, thousands of commercial real estate agents. I've met, some of them are introverts, some of them are extroverts. I'm talking about guys that are going to make millions of dollars this year. Okay, they'll do. I know a couple guys that'll do $500 million in transactions this year. I know mortgage brokers that'll do close to $1 billion in transactions this year. These are salespeople, okay? These are unbelievable. I mean, they know the game, baby. But you know what they know how to do? They know the difference between selling, closing, prospecting, and action. They work all four of them. They don't work one of them, okay? They have no problem with calling themselves a salesperson. But their pipeline's so full, it don't matter, man. They're working, dude. It's about work. And some of them are introverts, some of them are extroverts, all kinds of religions, all races. Salespeople come in all forms. I know this. If you're going to be a great entrepreneur, you got to learn how to sell. Warren Buffett is an unbelievable salesperson. Steve Jobs was a sick, crazy, one of the masters, one of the true masters of selling. This guy created products we weren't even asking for. Henry Ford. Nobody was asking for a car 70 years ago, dude. They were asking for fast horses that didn't leave poop all over the streets. Okay? They weren't asking for cars. You know, the great salespeople basically are the guys that change the world. You know, and if you have a great idea, a dream, you got to really embrace this concept and this idea about becoming a real professional salesperson.
Well, you know, before I turn this over to Sean and let him ask the next question, like one of my favorite things that I have ever seen you do, because I watch your videos, right, is when you were on, I think it was Selling LA, and the real estate agent couldn't sell your house, and then you had invited the brokers back over, and he tried to drink your coffee, and you took it from him. You said, "That's mine. Coffee's for closers." I love that, man. That's like one of my favorite things you've ever done.
Thank you.
What's up to you, Sean?
I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, fantastic. All right, Grant, we get a lot of leads that come in, people looking for sales coaching, and people that are in this program right now. They've been in their business a long time. They know their business inside and out. They eat, live, breathe, sleep their business. They know all the technical aspects of what it is they sell, of their widget, their gadget, their service, yet they're still uncomfortable when it comes to closing or asking for business or solidifying relationships that are based on reciprocity. Why do you think that is, and what advice can you give that person who knows all that they need to know but just can't seem to get over that hump to ask for business?
Yeah, we just did a mystery shop campaign for a major retailer, and then also did another one for one of the major auto manufacturers. We basically visited 500 retail stores and then also visited 500 car dealerships around America, and walked in, sent a human being in. This wasn't an internet hit. This was sending somebody into a store that sells suits and or a car. Okay, over 1,000 locations were visited, 1,014, I think. 70% of the time, over 70%, I think the number is actually 71.8 or something. Almost 72% of the time, the salesperson, the manager, and the company, okay? Imagine this. The company didn't say, "Come on inside," or "Sit down, let me show you what it would take to buy our product." Okay? All these companies have a couple of things in common. They advertise, spend a lot of money, open their doors up, had employees there, payroll there, spending money on electricity, utilities, taxes, payroll, go on and on and on, right? Customer came in every condition, over 1,000 times, a human being walked in and said, "I'm a buyer for your product." And nobody said, "Come on inside, let me show you what it would take. Let me show you what we can do for you." Okay? You tried the suit on?
It doesn't surprise me.
Now what your question is, why is that? Okay? Dude, the average salesperson's never read one sales book. The average American reads one book a year. I've written more books in the last 4 years than most people will read in their lifetime. Half the books that are sold in America this year, the average American will read one book a year, and half those books are romance novels.
God.
Dude, no wonder, man. Look, anything you're not good at, you're not going to do. Anything you're not good at, you're going to find an excuse not to do it. So if you ask me to go dancing tonight, I'm a decent dancer actually, but you know what? I haven't been dancing in a long time. You ask me to go dancing tonight, I'm going to probably be like, "Nah, dude, you know, I don't think so, man." But look, if I was actually practicing, if I was actually working on dancing, and me and my wife were doing ballroom dancing 2 or 3 times a week, and you ask me to go dancing when I'm in New Orleans, I'll bet you I'll find time to do it. See, the things that you're good at, the things that you practice, the things that you train, the things that you think about every day, you're not going to have any problem doing them. That's why these books, these are the thinking for an entrepreneur. It's the way an entrepreneur thinks. I'm not just talking about my books too. Get everybody's books, man. You should have books everywhere. I got books. I got them on my reader. I get apps. I get audio. I'll spend this year. I'll probably spend $25,000, maybe $50,000, just training myself. Forget my employees. I don't care what it takes. I put the best fuel I can possibly put in my tank. And when I'm out of fuel and there's no good gas around, dude, I'll throw anything in my tank to get another mile out of it.
Ryan?
I couldn't agree more. You know, like last year I invested $50,000 and some change in myself in coaching. I partnered up with high-level coaches and people that could take me to the next level, and they did. Well, I took myself to the next level with their expertise. This year I've already dropped 25. So, like, I'm 100% behind you. I got to keep my tank fueled. How can I lead people if I'm not getting led somewhere and getting fed as well? So I'm 100% behind you on that. Most people that we talk to on the phone can't even drop $500 on their future.
People will spend more money on filling up their tank than they will on themselves. Dude, people are going to buy you. They're going to either buy you or not buy you. A sale is made every time. So when the guy says, "Oh, you're a nice guy," that means he's not buying from you. I got to think about it. It means he's not buying from you today. There's solutions to every one of those situations. I got a better deal down the street. There's a solution to that situation.
Right. We talked about closing, and you mentioned Warren Buffett, and there was a study in the insurance world about the Geico sales process, right? And Geico's a Berkshire company, and when you call into Geico to purchase insurance, those salespeople on that sales floor ask for the business on average 4 times more than any other insurance agent across all major carriers that were surveyed in one of these hidden shopper deals that is similar to probably what you were talking about earlier. And I think that just goes to show that, you know, Warren Buffett is all about sales, and his companies are going to live, eat, and breathe sales as well.
Yeah, that's right. And those are the kind of examples that you want to use. You know, if Geico really believes in their product, should they ask for the sale? Well, sure, man. Because Absolutely. You know it's only when the guy buys the insurance that he actually gets a benefit. Prior to that, everything's work for the consumer. You know, if I want to go get a massage and the lady tells me about the massage and she tells me how much the massage is, and she tells me how long it is, and she tells me how great it is, and she tells me that she's, you know, trained for 27 years. Dude, how does that benefit me? It's not going to benefit me until she gets my money and gives me the massage. Her job at that point is not to tell me about the massage. That's selling. Her job is to put me on a table, collect my money, put me on a table, and go.
Grant, you're always so passionate, even as we sit here this morning. You know, you've got over 1,000 videos on your YouTube channel, and you're just always so full of energy. Where do you get all your energy and drive to be so passionate about what you do?
Well, man, how do I answer that? I don't know. Shit, I dream big, dude. You know, I got big dreams. You know, the first probably 20 years of my business, I was into target marketing. I used verticals. I worked a vertical, and I didn't realize until 2008 that was one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my whole life. This whole target marketing, market to a zip code, a neighborhood, a vertical, you know, vertical, like get people to know you in that vertical. Dude, my target today is planet Earth, okay? The zip code I'm targeting is EARTH. If I find out there's some freaking people with money on another planet, I'm going to start banging on them motherfuckers, okay? because let me tell you something, okay? I don't have a money problem. I never had a money problem. Even when I was broke, I didn't have a money problem. Every penny that you want, somebody else has got it. Somebody's got it. The problem is most people were mistrained. You've been mistrained your whole life and miseducated. As simple as this. Don't talk to strangers. We were all taught that as kids. Okay? Shit, that's taught even more today, man, because now the world's really dangerous. Don't talk to strangers.
It's scary.
Yeah, man. Hey, and be careful too, man. This is what you're telling your kids every day. Don't talk to strangers and be careful. Shit, no wonder nobody prospects. No wonder the salesperson.
Makes sense.
So
But hang on a second. But no wonder the salesperson won't go out and call on new business. No wonder nobody wants to cold call. Dude, the first information you got was bad. Then they tell you stuff like this. Don't get too much attention. Attention is the keystone to success. Attention is the ultimate. Like, if you wanted one piece of data to become successful, it would be one thing: get attention. So when you ask me, am I passionate? Yeah, man. You know why? Because I never lower a target. I set my target at my potential, not at what I'm getting. I'm looking at the gap all the time. The gap is the difference between where I am right now and where I know I can be. And so that's what my passion, my fuel comes from my ethical, my integrity of knowing the truth about my potential. Not how much money I have or how much money I've made. I can't spend the money I have right now. But if I stop right now, it would not be ethical for me, because I know my potential is a great deal more higher than the money I have in the bank. My potential is higher than the time I spend with my little girls. I know I could spend more time with them. And until I fulfill my potential, this is a real spiritual commitment for me, okay? Until I fulfill my potential, I'm not letting me off the hook. And so that's what keeps me excited every morning. I don't want to be in New Orleans today, man, doing another gig. So what? Hey, you know what? If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you got to do shit you don't want to do. People say, find what you love and you'll be successful. That is completely ridiculous. Do the shit nobody else wants to do, and you got a chance at being successful and no guarantee.
Hey, man, that's good stuff. So we talked a little bit about your...
fuck being careful. That is the lesson of the day.
we talked a little bit about
Go ahead, Sean.
your passion. We talked about your passion on video, and you've got over 1,000 videos. What role does video marketing play in your business today? And would you recommend folks start using video if they're not currently?
Well, I can only tell you for me. I mean, I get more. I own 4 different businesses. They're all extremely different. One is a technology business. Another is a consulting business. We have schools that people go to for our trainings, and then I have a real estate company. Okay. We get more business from YouTube. On all 4 of those platforms, we get more new leads from YouTube video than any other single place.
You heard it first here.
So, I use Twitter, I use Facebook, I use LinkedIn, we use Google Plus as we're using it right now. Google owns YouTube. I use Instagram, I use telephones, I use texting, I use knocking on a door, I use cold calling. Dude, I'll throw a rock through your window if it gets your attention. Okay, it don't matter to me. Okay, I'll start a fire in your front yard. It don't matter. I mean, I don't care, because I know my products are good for people. My products help people produce. So whatever it takes, if I buy an apartment building in Daytona Beach, I know that we're taking care of people there, so I don't mind asking a little more money, and I don't mind pressing on somebody while they're there to make sure that they rent from us. Because I believe in the products that I sell. If I don't sell those products.
So, last question I got for you, and I really want you to rant on this, man. Why is it easier for people to make excuses than sales?
I met a guy yesterday. He says, man, I got your 10X rule. He's like, I got to tell you, Grant, I hadn't read your book yet. I said, really? What's your excuse? Man, I don't have time, man. I said, dude, if you're going to find something to blame, at least have it here. He's like, what do you mean? I said, time's not even here to defend itself. He's like, what are you talking about, man? I said, bro, you blaming time, man. That's the weakest damn excuse I ever heard in my life. I said, how many hours in a day? 24. Good. How many you sleep? How many of those 24 do you sleep? I don't know. I said, then you don't know anything about time. So don't blame it. Okay? Here's the math, okay? There's 24 hours in a day. People ask me all the time, one of the biggest questions I get is, how much do you sleep, man? You get so much done. I said, dude, I'm going to get 8 hours. I'm going to get 8 hours, okay? That means I got 16 hours left. I don't need to cut my sleep out. I got 16 hours left. I could spend 2 hours with my wife and my kids. They'd be freaking tripping out. If I spent 2 hours a day uninterrupted with my kids, they wouldn't even want to be around me any longer. That leaves 14 hours a day for me to work. That will be double what the average American works. Double. Okay? I dare anybody out there, okay, to ever blame time again. It can't defend itself. And definitely don't blame your kids. Man, you don't understand, man. I've got kids to take care of. Dude, you got a 4-year-old. You're blaming your shit on a 4-year-old. What a damn shame. Come on, man. Keep it real. Okay? See, for me, success is my duty. Okay? Success is my duty. It's my obligation. It's my responsibility. I'm not blaming anybody for the outcome. You got to think like a Marine now. You know? You got to think like, hey, dude, we're going out to get the mission done. No excuses. Period. Be honest, have integrity, be ethical. I meet all these people that are like, I'm an ethical guy. You're not ethical, dude. If you're not successful, you're not being ethical. Because you were put here to be successful, not a failure. So whatever it takes, man, whatever it takes. Living on a budget is not being successful. Being able to live without budgetary restrictions is freedom. I'm not talking about money here because money's not that important. But living with freedom is very important. You know, having freedom, having time freedom, financial freedom, being able to make choices, being able to pass on customers, being able to say, no, you know what? I don't want you as a customer. I'm not interested in your shit. I'm not interested in your problems. You're not a good customer. You're not a good fit for my business. I love you. Let me send you to my competition. You go weigh them down. So, dude, is that a rant? I don't know, man. Shit.
I love it. Like time can't defend itself, and you're blaming on a 4-year-old.
Yeah. You know, excuses are great, but they're not going to change anything.
You know, and a lot of people, those 14 hours, they spend 7 of them surfing Facebook, twiddling their thumbs, daydreaming, what we call they're in the drift instead of in the shift, you know what I mean? And I imagine you're one of those people. This is how I am. When I wake up, I have a set schedule of things that I have to accomplish for the day, or my day doesn't end. So I dive in, focus 100%, and keep going task at hand until I can knock each and every one of them out. And actually, on my list of things every day is time with my family. And so I know that I don't want to be judged by Mrs. Stewman or Stewman Jr. If I miss out on that date either. So it keeps me focused on the task at hand every day to where I stay at it. So most people aren't that disciplined, though. You're very right. So biggest takeaway that I got from this, man, is that, if you're convicted, if you believe in what you're doing is making a difference, then you'll sell it, right?
But don't get convicted, man.
Don't get convicted. But you'll sell it, If not, see, I think that's one of the biggest problems salespeople have is they take a job somewhere where they're really not happy selling what they sell. Like, someone who's not a car guy goes and sells cars. Someone who doesn't really like doing laundry selling washer and dryers for Sears or whatever. And they just take these jobs and they don't get the passion behind it. You know what I mean? They don't get you're keeping families clean, baby. It's not about the washing machine, right? So I think people miss the big mark and just force themselves into a sales job they hate and ultimately can't close or have any confidence because of it. So,
right.
Well, I appreciate you coming on here, man, and imparting your energy and wisdom into our audience, and taking time away from your conference and just sharing with us, man. It's been an honor to share the broadcast here with you, Sean. Is there anything you want to add?
Man, I second what Ryan said. It's an honor. Everybody in the group, you guys, it's such a you have no idea if you haven't been plugged into Grant's systems. Get a hold of them. Grant, where can they go and get more resources from you?
You know, where I think, Jared, what do you say? Where should people go, man? How about CardoneSuccess.com?
CardoneSuccess.com.
Yeah, go to CardoneSuccess.com, and I'll put you on my, what we'll do is we'll open it up. When are you going to launch? You're going to light this up. I know when you're going to light it up. I'll keep this, CardoneSuccess.com, I'll keep open for 36 hours after you see this, and you can get my newsletter for free there.
There you go.
Hours after you see this, boom, go to CardoneSuccess.com. I'll send you a newsletter every week. We don't sell your list. We don't sell the names. I don't know who would do that, but all you have to do is unsubscribe even if somebody did sell the name. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but we're not going to sell the name. I don't need another nickel. I'm going to tell you, we do like money in my offices, though, okay? Because, you know, I'm Billy Hunting now. That's my new nickname, Billy Hunter. Hashtag Billy Hunter. It's B-I-L-L-I Hunter. Billy Hunter. Big B, big H. Hashtag Billy Hunter at Grant Cardone on Twitter. You follow me on Twitter, dude, I'll load you up with freaking stamina and fuel and ambition about 12 times a day on Twitter.
That's what's up. Hey, can we
Billy Hunter. Billy Hunter.
We've got a lot of
I'm hunting for some Billy.
we have a lot of young professionals in our group. Could we introduce Jared here and tell him a little bit about the Young Hustler show that you guys do?
Yeah, Jared, come see Jared. Come sit down, man. This is my protege.
Man, that's big shoes to fill.
Right? This guy.
Damn, look at this guy looking sharp, man. He's dressed like Sean Matheis. Holy shit.
How you guys doing, man?
What's up, man? Like nice to meet you.
Jared, tell him your story, dude. Tell him how you found me, how we hooked up.
So I was working in a motorcycle dealership for my dad in Austin, Texas, and he was looking for some sales training for his people, and came across Grant. Had heard his name in the past before, and just kind of it came about that Grant was getting ready to do something really big with an online university that he was getting ready to launch. And I just had to be a part of it. I started watching videos on YouTube and really getting behind Grant and who he was and what he was about. And so I said, I got to work for this guy. And so I started calling him probably every day for a month and a half, phone call, email every day. I mean, just banging him to death.
Well, no,
not like that. Not like that. And then finally, I jumped on a plane, went out to L.A., you know, I don't even think he wanted to hire me.
I didn't.
I don't even think he wanted to hire me, but I wasn't willing to accept that as an answer. So
that's
just kept being persistent, and then finally, you know, he gave me an opportunity. Hardly any money.
Hardly any money, man.
But all the opportunity.
See, the great people, you know, they'll make it work even if there's no money.
It's true.
And the reason I didn't give him money because I wanted to see if the excuses, if he was going to drown himself in excuses and reasons for it not to work. You know.
Hey, Jared,
and he did. He made it work.
And you know,
I always watch this video, man. That's by Cat Williams, right? And he's talking about this tiger that's locked in the zoo in this fake ass surroundings, right? And at the end of it, you should look it up, Cat Williams tiger story, right? But at the end of it, he basically says, any real motherfucker needs a chance from another real motherfucker to show them that they ain't bullshitting, right? And all you got to do is show up, man. You had it. You knew, like, all I have to do is show Grant Cardone, who ain't bullshitting, that I got exactly what he wants, and I'm not going to stop till he gets it, man. No wonder you're his protege. That's fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and you know, there were definitely times we were launching a new product where it was tough, and I wasn't making any money. And you know, we were in that beginning stage with the new product.
But he knew he was on a space shuttle.
That's right.
I knew we were going to do something massive, and I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And you know, just being completely relentless with it. And when things really changed for me is when my commitment really started escalating. The more committed that I got to making it work on a daily basis. I mean, I listened to every single one of the programs that the guy had ever created, every video on YouTube. I would actually go and transcribe videos while I was watching them. Looking good, right?
He's got some good hair too, man.
I would actually go transcribe videos on YouTube so that I would get the information in a different way. I'd put his programs on a phone and sleep with the program playing in my ears because I was maybe thinking that while I was sleeping it would open up some kind of freaky weird brain thing, and and everything would start clicking. But when you really start getting more committed, you get more creative, and that's one of the things that we talk about is the more committed you get to something, the more creative you'll be, the more opportunity that you'll see because you'll be looking for it.
I was doing this entrepreneur magazine conference yesterday here in New Orleans, and this woman came up to me. She's like, "You don't know it, but I've been sleeping with you for months now." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, "And you're married?" She's like, "Yeah, my husband knows it. He likes it too."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they were listening to one of the audio programs. So,
you guys have a Young Hustler show. When is that?
Every Tuesday. Every Tuesday we do Young Hustlers. It's a show you can see it at grantcardone.com/Cardone Zone. GrantCardone.com. It's free. We do it for people 18 to 32 years old. We know we got some old guys, kind of bombing the space for the ideas. But it's my way to give back to millennials and Gen Ys that I think are being maybe, what's the word? Counted out. They're being underestimated and they're being counted out. I'm sick of hearing old guys talk about millennials. They don't work and they're lazy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of hearing that shit. Every generation says that about the next generation coming up.
They sure do.
And I think it's important that the younger generation sees the story. Like the reason we created the story was the show was because, I mean, there's so many. I feel like there's a lot of kids in my generation, our generation. I mean, we're young hustlers. That's what we are. And I think that they don't hear often enough the success story. They don't hear people winning enough, and it becomes this thing that maybe it isn't real. Maybe it isn't real for you to go from making $2,500 a month to making $30,000 a month in 2 or 3 years. I mean, they don't get the fact that those are real opportunities that are out there. So the purpose of the show is to communicate to them, yes, it's real, yes, it's possible, and here's exactly what you need to do if you want to get there.
That's what's up, man.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
We've got a guy that's
you're always thinking ahead, Grant. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, we've got a guy that's we've got a program running right now with Frederick Eklund for $1 Million Listing New York. It's a real estate coaching program, and we get thousands of leads, and then ultimately out of that, a few hundred will actually invest in themselves, buy into the program, and move on with the course. And I found out that there's a 16-year-old kid, a 16-year-old high school kid out of California that is paid the money while all these other people that are actually doing real estate, selling real estate, are making excuses not to take this program. This kid's 16 years old. He knows that he wants to make millions selling real estate. And while he's in high school, he doesn't have a real estate license. He can't even sell real estate, but he invested his own money into the program, didn't ask for a discount, didn't give us a sob story about being a kid. We didn't find out till after the fact that he was in, and he's like, hey, I'm only 16. I don't really have this kind of experience to talk about this particular subject, but I'm here to learn from you guys. And so there's a lot of young hustlers out there, and I'm glad that you guys are finding them. I'm definitely going to steer them in your guys' direction and get them connected with your show and plugged into what you're doing. But I definitely totally agree that we've got to lift up those young people and quit beating them down.
Yeah. Well, guys, hey, I want to thank you both for having me on the show today. I appreciate it. Hope this is helpful to the people that listen to it. And again, for the 36 hours after the show's, after you watch it, you can go to cardonesuccess.com and hook up for my newsletter.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks, Jared. Nice to meet you, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you.